Hi everybody, Tom here from Legal Growth. I hope you're all okay. Today I wanted to do a quick video to talk about the client journey and why law firms should be mapping out their client journey, identifying any gaps or putting a client journey into place in the first place. So let's start by discussing what a client journey is and why it's important. Well, for all law firms, we're in a crowded legal marketplace, and whilst we may not see competition, if we think about the consumer, they normally go to a law firm when they've got a problem and they're looking for a solution. And what they're looking for is they're looking for somebody that they know, they like, and they trust. So the idea behind this sales journey is to create a process whereby we build that trust for them, they decide to work with us, and therefore we've got another client that we can then support. And we remember, once we've got that client on board, it's 5 times easier to sell to an existing client than it is to bring on a new client, 5 times more cost effective. So within the crowded marketplace, we need to understand what touch points we've got in place to onboard a client, what the data that we're collecting looks like. And data is fundamentally going to be your best friend when it comes to law firm marketing. So how are you collecting the data? What data are you collecting? When you've got the data, where is it going? Anybody who knows me will know that CRM systems, client relationship management systems, or case management systems, as some law firms call it, are your best friend. It adds value to your business if you're thinking of selling at any specific point, but ultimately it enables you to capture all of that data and store it securely, and then theoretically you can repurpose that data at given points during the sales journey. So what does that sales journey then look like for a law firm? Well, we use something called a sales funnel, sales journey, sales funnel. It's the same thing. But what we do is we use something called the ADA model. Some of you might have heard of this, but for those that haven't, if you imagine you've got the sales funnel and at the top all of that data goes into the sales funnel, and at that point they're building awareness as to who you are and what you do. As you drop further down the sales funnel, we go from that awareness piece to the interest piece. So they go from a point, or a prospect goes from a point where they're aware of what you do to they're interested in what you do. So if we take conveyancing for an example, somebody will only ever go to a conveyancer when they need to purchase a house or when they need to sell a house, right? But they'll start to search for that person, and they'll go through the process of engaging with a firm whereby the price is right for them, where there's less friction in the sales journey, and ultimately where they feel comfortable and they know, like, and trust that firm or that person. So that's what you need to build. And we need to get them to a point where they're aware of who you are, they know, like, and trust you, and they've got an interest in working with you, to a point where they're then ready to make a decision. And that's the next part in that sales funnel. The D in ADA is decision. So they're ready to make a decision as to move ahead during the process. And then at the bottom of the sales funnel, we get to action. ADA, the second A in ADA is action. So they're ready to take action, but specifically they're ready to take action with you. So we've removed any friction during the process. We've made it as simple as possible for them to be able to engage with you, fill in a contact form on the website, for example, get automated communication back, book in an appointment. There's no friction there, so you might use something like Calendly or an alternative, and you make it as simple as possible. That's the action point in the sales model. So what does that look like for your law firm then? I would ideally think about all of the touch points that you could theoretically have with a client during a process. And if you're a multidisciplinary law firm, then start to think about within each specific department what those touch points look like. In the wills and probate department, it might be that you've got somebody who's interested in writing a will. It might be that you've done a probate case for somebody and one of the beneficiaries now wants to write a will. So the touch point starts at, they've gone through the process with you in receiving an inheritance. Now they're starting to think about their own mortality. They're now starting to think about putting documents in place to protect their loved ones. So that's one of the touch points in that sales journey. And it might be then that you think about creating automated communication that goes out to said prospect about the process of booking their own appointment. It might be that you make it as easy as possible, and we talked about removing any friction, so you send them a link to book in with a consultant, with one of the solicitors, or one of the paralegals to book in an appointment to start to think about or start to have a consultation on their own estate planning. So map out whatever that journey looks like, all those data points. So this is where I need to collect information or collect data. How can we make it as simple as possible? How can we add value to the prospect? How can we build trust? And if at any point you realise that there's not conversions that are happening, so it might be that as you go through that sales funnel, so you go from building awareness, building interest, getting people to start thinking about making a decision, to taking action with your firm specifically. If the conversion's not happening as you move down the sales funnel, you've got dropout, and we need to start thinking about why that is. Where's the friction? What's causing those issues? And again, we're happy to support anybody who's got or wants to map out that process or has got any questions. If you have got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. But if you'd like to start to think about what that sales process looks like within your business, you'd like us to help you map it out, perhaps put automated systems in place, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to help.